The point in time count starts on the 22nd. They also need donations for those resource kits that they're going to be handing out. Things like toiletries, wipes, water, and snacks. For a full list and more information on how you can volunteer, just head to our website, WRDW.com. Well, how will you be spending your time in this new year? For some people, it might be volunteering for something that you're passionate about. Well, Monty Maynor spends her time volunteering for child enrichment. She's our guest this morning, one-on-one with Richard Rogers.
Monty, welcome. Great to have you in the studio with us this morning. But first of all, just a big question about this new year and starting out. Let's talk about carving out time to volunteer. Why do you think that's important for people to do?
So thank you. I'm super happy to be here. And again, the new year is always a great time to have a new you and start a new you. I think a lot of times that we are ingrained in this fixed mindset where we stay stationary. And a new year is a great time to go into this growth mindset, meaning putting yourself out there, try something different and see if you grow. And regardless whether you like it or don't like it, you'll find out, and that's growth.
Well, for you, it's you have a full-time career. You're a full-time mom of a couple of kids. What do you say to people who say, there's just absolutely no time in my schedule? There's no way, Monty.
I hear that all the time, and I think that a lot of the time as well for myself. There's always time. I think that at the end of the day, if we take a step back and prioritize what's important to us, we can make time for that. I know that I do that. I know that you can do that. And I think volunteering is the perfect way to make that big leap and try something new.
So for you, it's child enrichment, and more specifically, CASA. Tell me about that.
Yes.
What is it you do?
So CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate. They're a part of child enrichment, and nationally, child enrichment and CASA started together in 1977. But here in Georgia, CASA became on the docket with child enrichment in 1995. So relatively new. And as a court-appointed special advocate, you are exactly what that says. A judge appoints you to work with a child in foster care. And when we think about children in foster care, there's a lot of them. We have 16,000 children here in the state of Georgia in foster care. And a lot of these children are, neglected, sexually, verbally, physically abused. And it's a wonderful opportunity for us as citizens and people looking to make a change and do something different to make a change for those children.
And you are literally holding their hands through the process. You're there for them in court.
Absolutely. And that's the coolest part is, you get to go and see how our judicial system works, both good and bad. And you get to see these children and kind of what they go through. You get to form a relationship with them. And at the end of the day, it really is about reunification of that child with their parents. But sometimes that's not in the deck of cards that it's been given. And so we're there to help and make sure that child has a voice and an advocate, and I'm proud and happy to do it.
And we're not here to make parents feel bad either. Sometimes they're just at the end of their rope and circumstances are what they are, and the child needs something better, and that's when the court moves in, right?
Absolutely, and I always tell people this. Just because a parent that day couldn't be what they needed to be doesn't mean that tomorrow they can't be what they need to be. Mm-hmm. And so again, it's that constant, again, we feel that as parents a lot of the time of there are days that we fail. And our job as citizens and as volunteers and getting to work with child enrichment and the judicial system is giving people the tools that they need to work a plan and then giving them the opportunity to do it.
You brought up foster care. How big of a need is there for families to step forward to be foster families?
We need it. We need it so badly. A lot of times when you think foster care, you immediately think, random individuals that decide that they want to be a foster parent. A lot of times children in foster care will go with a family member that they know, but there's always a need for more. Every single day I get to meet with wonderful foster families and hear their stories, and we couldn't have enough. I mean, we need more and more.
Child enrichment also has under their umbrella sex trafficking. Has that become a big problem here?
So in the state of Georgia, we have something that's called CSET, which is the Commercial Sexual Exploitation of Children. And it really looks into see what is going on with human and sexual trafficking. And believe it or not, and this is kind of a crazy statistic I'm going to throw out there, but then I'm going to back it up a little bit. Richmond County has the highest reports of human child sex trafficking.
In the state?
In the state.
Which is, we're competing with Metro Atlanta there.
DeKalb, Fulton County, et cetera. We're even competing with our surrounding counties here in the CSRA. But I think if you take a step back and really look at to maybe what that could potentially mean, and this is what we're finding, is that we, as CASA and as child enrichment, are doing better at educating and bringing awareness to law enforcement as well as the general public on what human sex trafficking looks like and what it looks like for children.
So there's more awareness locally.
Exactly. And that's what you need. At the end of the day, it's there, but how do you know what to look for? And then how do you report it? So again, I think that statistic's a tough statistic, but if you really are to dive in deep into it, we see that there's maybe a little bit of hope there.
This is such important work as a volunteer, and I don't want people to be put off this or frightened by this because they don't just throw you in. There is some training that comes with this, right?
Yes, and I want to say a lot of times people are saying, oh, tell me everything that's involved. You know, I don't know if I can do it. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And essentially what happens with the training aspect of it, it's about 50 hours. So 40 hours are done in a classroom. So Child Enrichment just did a big capital campaign where they built a brand new facility at 2300 Walden Drive.
We did a news story about that.
It's incredible. It's beautiful, amazing. And the training's done there. So 40 hours are there. And then 10 hours are done you observing court cases, going and seeing what's done. And then after that, you do have a CASA coordinator that works with you every inch of the way.
Okay, so you're never out there alone.
Absolutely not.
At the end of the day, Monty, after you get home and there's been a tough case or a great case, what are the cases that stick with you? Can you tell us a few stories without naming names?
Yes. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a case, but it's just the mother's faces that you see that work that plan that got to be reunified with that child is just the best feeling in the whole entire world, especially if it's your child that you have as the CASA coordinator or CASA member. But there also are times in sad times when there's mothers that tried to work a plan and they couldn't do it. And there's tears and there's sadness and sorrow. And again, mother to mother, human to human, it just breaks your heart. But at the same time, you know that there's going to be another child out there that you can help. And there's going to be another mother out there that can work that plan that makes it worth it.
Have you seen kids go into adoption from where you sit? Is that a happy time for them?
Absolutely. And again, we work with children that are babies. I mean, we go from babies all the way up to 17. So there is such a wide range of children that you work with. And the other thing that I also want to throw out there with CASA is that, you know, again, I'm a working mother. In my mind, I'm like, how can I make time to do this? And originally I said, give me the hardest case. Give me a family of 4. I can do it. After going through the training, I said, you know what? I may need to get my feet wet before I jump into the pool. And they gave me, the last 2 cases have been, you know, wonderful, good cases, but ones that really worked with my schedule as well.
You know, we do a segment here twice a week called Grant Me Hope. We're trying to connect families with these kids who really need a permanent place to call home. Hopefully people will go to our website and learn more. But if they're really interested in what you said this morning, what do they need to know? What's the next step to connect with you guys?
So great question. Childenrichment.org. So again, you can find us on the World Wide Web. When you go to childenrichment.org, you're going to go and see a tab that says Take Action. Under Take Action, you'll see CASA. It gives you plenty of information there. Also, I always tell people this, I am on LinkedIn under Monty Mainers. I'm more than happy to take any questions that individuals may have. And again, just super honored to be here and do this work and to provide more insight on it.
You know, you're a positive person and we can feel it just being in the room with
Thank you.
Hopefully that connects with a lot more volunteers to help out child enrichment. But Monty Mainers, CASA volunteer, thank you so much for what you do and for your time this morning.
Of course, and thank you. Again, it's super important, and I'm just glad that you gave me the opportunity to talk more about it.
You bet.